Hi, welcome back to Permission to Organise with me, Amy, and Pro Organiser Academy. In today's episode, I'm answering a question that I get all the time. Can I share my clients' results and situation? And the short answer is yes, and you absolutely should. And I'm breaking down what to share and what not to, how to do it ethically without spiraling, and the simple storytelling frame that makes someone go, oh my God, that's me, and book, and a zero faff workflow so that you've always got proof ready to post. If you've been hiding behind before and afters in your decluttering business, especially on Instagram, this is the episode that gets you sharing what actually converts. But just thought I'd share a little update first, what's been going on in my life. Although I have to admit, I'm actually a little bit flustered because I just had a WhatsApp message, which from one of my very, very good friends who I actually co-founded a business with a couple of years ago. It's never fully launched, but we just had some quite stressful news. And all I will say is thank God she's a barrister and thank goodness she has sorted it out. But it's definitely not something that I needed this week whatsoever. Oh my goodness, I am already at my limit this week. Well, no, in fact, I'm well over my limit. Oh my goodness, I almost didn't record this podcast episode because, to be completely honest, I do not have time to do it, but I really wanted to get this one out for a couple of reasons, mainly because it's really helpful to you guys, but also because it is the final week for Scale with Amy, and I just wanted to give you a little reminder. But that text message is just a reminder of one of the biggest reasons why I help my one-to-one coaching clients, especially with not getting shiny object syndrome and really getting clear on their goals and their focus and what they want for their business so that they don't end up dipping into way too many pies and trying to do far too many things. Because honestly, yes, I have had success and yes, I have managed to do very well, but sometimes I wonder how I've managed to do it because the juggle, like how many things I'm trying to do, it's so far out of what is realistic and normal and okay. It's ridiculous. But obviously I've been making lots of changes to change it and improve it. And I know exactly what to do and what not to do now. And which is, even though I am still caught up in the kind of chaos of it all, still from not having boundaries before and getting shiny object syndrome and all of the different kind of mistakes that I've made, that's just another reason why I help my clients to get such good results and why I'm such a good coach to them, because I know what not to do. What not to do is just as important as what to do in business. So anyway, that along with all the other kind of chaos that is going on, we still haven't moved house and we've just had news that we probably won't even exchange for another couple of weeks. So we probably won't be completing until the end of September, which, again, as I've always said on the Space Creator, everything happens for a reason. The universe is aligning. Right now, with all this chaos going on, it probably would make my life a bit harder if I actually had to physically move out of this house right this second. That being said, I am so looking forward to moving out because trying to just juggle everything whilst managing this like very big house with a toddler on my own and it being so far from my mum and nursery and everything. And now, oh my goodness, I actually mentioned this on Instagram stories this morning, but the traffic, because obviously it's been school holidays, I completely forgot how horrendous the traffic was when school holidays are back. And oh my goodness, this morning, I've basically gone back to my pretty much hour and a half twice daily commute to nursery, which is not ideal. When we move, the nursery is a 5-minute drive, which is going to be absolute heaven. I literally cannot wait. Anyway, there's a lot going on. Pro Organizer Business Blueprint is starting this week. Tomorrow night, actually, I'm recording this on Tuesday, and we start tomorrow night. Doors closed on Sunday. I have had a few messages, people trying to join after, again, on Instagram, which I always have every single time, but people just don't see stuff. But doors are closed. We start tomorrow, and Scale with Amy has already started for Success Activation Week, which I was a bonus to everyone in it. Typical over delivering, but I'm really excited about that. It's a pre-recorded week, so they've got access to that now, but the main week starts next week. But the big thing was, I said on yesterday, I think I spoke on stories saying I timed it really badly. I didn't. Both programs, Pro Organized Business Blueprint and Scale with Amy, have been in my diary for months. In fact, Business Blueprint has been in my diary since before January last year. But my mum is away this week and she helps me on Thursdays with Otti. And she also has her to stay overnight on Wednesdays when I'm running Blueprint so that I can do the evening calls. And she's away. And she did tell me a little while ago, although they did book it quite late, and it just didn't click with me at the time. She always tells me things when I'm doing a million other things. And I didn't have it in my diary straight away. And then even when I did have it in my diary, I hadn't blocked it out as like busy on the Thursday. And so I've had clients book in, and oh my goodness. In fact, I literally just saw this morning, one of my lovely one-to-one clients has booked in an extra session, and she's booked it in tomorrow morning, and I can't do it. I'm literally driving Ottie to nursery. So, and then just to add to that, we've also got a surveyor coming around at 9 a.m. as well for this blinking house move situation. So yes, it's all going on. So if you are in the heaviness right now of feeling like there's just so much going on, I feel you. I understand it. You know, no matter how good your systems are in your business, how organized you are, generally, even how much like team you have, sometimes it's just still too much. And if you're doing too much, you're doing too much, right? So anyway, that is my little update, but let me get back to the actual what we're talking about in this episode. So I've been working one-to-one with a lovely client. All my clients are lovely. I always say lovely client, who is revamping one of her original offers. And she was really, really massively undercharging just because of the kind of what she'd called it and how she'd sort of structured it. And just because she just didn't know, like she just had kind of no idea. It was the first time she'd run it. But when she started working with me, we had a look at her business and like the offers and things. And she mentioned this to me. And straight away, in fact, I think I may have mentioned this before, but straight away I was like, no, this is what we need to do, you know, really overhauled it. And she was super pleased. But at first she was very like, oh gosh, because it's a big mindset change. It's like there's resistance as we all have. And once we'd established that it was going to be this group program, and you know, we'd talked about everything, we'd become all the different things that come up, she was really on board and excited. Anyway, fast forward a few sessions, and she has had a huge influx of new inquiries from in-home clients, one-to-one bookings, and she's now completely rammed, totally fully booked, no space in her diary at all for September and well into October, which is amazing. It's so good. Everything that we've been working on has been working, of course. She's super pleased. And it's an amazing problem to have, right? Being fully booked, especially when that's what you wanted, that was what your goal was. But it comes with, okay, well, now where do I find time to move this offer forward that I want to be running, right? And this might be the same for you as well. And in our last session, she had said to me, like, I think I'm going to have to push the program back running it because I just don't think I can do it in September. I kind of was sort of on the same page with her. And then I thought, actually, do you know what? I basically spotted an opportunity. It was in relation to, because she's had a lot of previous clients do this offer, but when she was running it kind of as a challenge rather than a program. So we spoke about that, and she was sort of asking me how to handle contacting her existing clients who'd previously joined it. Particularly because she was undercharging then. And so she wanted to know how to tell them that essentially she is running it again because they've been asking, but now it's like 5 times, 6 times the price, which is exactly what it should be for the program that she's running. It's a high level program, and that is where it should be. And so I said, look, let's test this. Let's not like cancel it. Let's not move it back. Let's just do this one thing. I said, we'll write an email. That's it. We will do one email because you've already kind of partly decided that you're going to push it back, but let's see if we can do something here. So on our call, I gave her the structure. I love email copywriting. Like copywriting is my jam, and my sales emails convert really highly. And so I spoke to her about that, like how to write this email in the best way to really make it a benefit to them, because it is a benefit to them. We decided that we would set up a really simple payment link. We would add it to her site, and we decided to send the email to those past participants with a really clear note about like the minimum number needed to run. And then we would just see what happens. And if enough people sign up for her to run it, brilliant. So she can now run it without a massive content push, planning out tons and tons of content, Instagram content, blog, emails, whatever, without a big fancy campaign. And if no one signs up from that one email, fine. No massive effort was put into it. It was simply an off-the-cuff opportunity, one email written, no extra effort, no stress. But we would gather the data so we can learn and tweak and then go into planning for the proper launch to get the best results later on, right? With the timing kind of pushed back a bit. Business is about seeing the opportunities and grabbing them when it makes sense, but also knowing when to leave it and not to get shiny object syndrome when it doesn't. Right. And again, as we know, I'm an expert with that shiny object syndrome. My goodness. It's testing, tweaking, refining, and also not throwing in the towel when things don't go to plan. Because it's business. Not everything goes to plan in business. In fact, most things don't go to plan in business. That's the freaking nature of it, right? But it's noticing and focusing on finding the solutions, not the problems. Nothing has to be perfect straight away. Sometimes instead of pushing something back or giving up, you think differently and you notice the potential like low-hanging fruit. You could get something without having to do loads and loads of effort. But equally knowing that if you don't get the results, well, you didn't put in the big effort. So you understand what I mean? It's having the right mindset. But this is why she's so glad, or one of the reasons she's so glad that she started one-to-one coaching with me, because these little opportunities are so easy to miss when you're stuck in the weeds and the busyness, because we're all busy in business, and also when you lack experience in certain areas. If you've never launched an online or virtual offer before, and if you don't have much kind of strategic business experience, you're not going to notice these. And that's not your fault. You just don't know, right? You just haven't dealt with it before. But I have. My strategic eye and all the experience I've had means that I spot them. That's the difference between one-to-one coaching with me and like being in a group program or doing a course. You don't get that level of absolute full attention on your business. And the thing is, even if only 4 people signed up, that's still £1,000 that she wouldn't have had, right? And the program is already built. She's already built it. She's run it before. We've just changed the name and the type of offer that it's called, really. So the extra work is really minimal. And because she's a one-to-one client, she gets copy review included, which is priceless. So she'll write the email, she'll draft it using the structure that we spoke about on our one-to-one call, make it an absolute no-brainer for them to join, just in the words that we use, the language that we speak. Who your ideal client is and your expansive client depends on the wording and how you write. It's really important because depending on who your ideal client is, specific language can really put someone off. I was actually talking with another client about this week, and I was really explaining to her, like, if I read an email or if I read a sales page that was really speaking to struggle or the poor you or the, oh, I'll do everything for you, or, you know, this kind of thing, I would instantly be repelled because I'm a high achiever and I'm like, yes, I'm doing whatever I'm doing it really well, but I am just to whatever the problem is that I would be struggling with, whether it's too busy or whatever it is. It's really important the way that you write, and people just don't understand this. And this is again why so many offers that you create flop, or like sales pages flop, because you're just not talking to the right person and in the right way. So speaking to those micro problems in the right way, speaking to the desires, what they want, the goal, the transformation, and then position the program as the obvious solution, right? And then, you just drop it into a Google Doc and I'll go through it with my comments and my surgical tweaks. So my eyes on your copy can literally be the difference between something selling and something not. But I'm not your personal copywriter. I do not write your copy or content for you. Obviously, it's your business, it's your brand voice, and you're not paying me to do that. But once you've read it and you've refined it and you feel that it's really good and that you'd be very happy to send it, and then I will go through it and I will make my strategic suggestions, okay? And they might be micro tweaks. It might be changing a single word, right? It might be changing the order of something. It might be putting something that's really important higher up, like so many different things. But it is the tweaks that really convert. When you coach with me, you also get a PDF guide of how to actually write copy that converts, with lots of tips and tricks to write your copy and content like a boss, written by me, a copywriting boss. I love copywriting. And you can use this to help you, because the great thing about all of this is that you not only get my help during the 3 months that you're working with me, or longer if you resign, but you also learn how to improve your writing skills for sales conversion and improve your copy and your content and everything. You're becoming a better business owner. You're learning key skills and creating so much personal growth alongside business and financial growth. Because my clients don't just come to me about business. Like we talk about all sorts, like personal stuff, because it all affects your business, right? Your personal life directly impacts your business if you are self-employed or you're running your own business, if it's just you. But even if you've got a team, it still affects it. And all of that you then take with you. You take that with you into the rest of your business, But with this particular client, we also did a quick triage of her task list because she had a lot on. Oh my goodness. Plus a fully booked diary. Again, thanks to the coaching. Yay, which is amazing. But on our call, I just said to her, look, let's just quickly run through what the real major tasks that you've got on, because a lot of them were priorities. I get it. Like, so many of my things are all urgent and all priorities. So we went through there and we really figured out which needs to come first, because what might include someone else. So some things might include me checking, or something might include her doing it and then giving it to like someone else to deal with, or whatever. So really, what's urgent, what's the most important, what also only she can do. And big shift. So she is moving into the mindset of someone who outsources. When she first joined me, that wasn't really like on the horizon at all. And actually, after our session, a couple of days later, she messaged me in our private messenger and said that she's really thinking now that she is going to hire a VA that she's got in mind. So that's really exciting, because she just could not picture that at the start, paying someone else before she made more, before she earned more. But now she gets that outsourcing buys her time to do the high level income producing stuff. So I'm just so proud of her. Oh my goodness. I'm so proud of all of my clients, but like, just the mindset shifts are just huge, phenomenal. And that is really what moves your business forward. It's the strategy and the mindset and the energy. It's all combined. But if you're listening to this thinking, oh, I really want that high level of support, then one-to-one coaching is now application only. And I'm almost fully booked now for the whole of 2025. Like, that's it now. I think I always keep a little bit of time back for current clients who re-sign. Many of them do. But I think I will have space for one, maybe two new clients before the end of 2025. But that's really probably about it. So if you do want more information, you just need to join the coaching waitlist. The link is in the show notes below, and you'll get a few emails explaining how coaching works, who it's for, what position you need to be in to help you see if it's right for you. And if you decide it's not, that's okay. Being on the waitlist isn't binding. It's totally fine. You don't have to do it. But if you do want to go for it, then you will also get access to the finer details. You'll be able to complete the application form. My team will have a quick look at it first, and then I will look at it personally as well. And if it's a fit, you'll get the link to the sign up page and all the nitty gritty details, and the option to sign up if you want to go ahead. Or you can book a discovery call with me if you want to chat anything through and just make sure it is definitely the right thing for you. Referrals still go through the same process. So even if one of my other clients has recommended you, you still need to apply. It just protects your time and mine, and it makes sure that we're a match. But by joining the waitlist, it doesn't tie you to anything. So it just gives you the info. And if you're thinking, actually, I'd love that, but actually I really need the full like step-by-step screen share level of how to for absolutely everything relating to building and launching and selling a scalable offer or a virtual offer for your business, then probably your best option is Scale with Amy. You'll also be able to get on quicker than coaching as well. But coaching gives you that really high level strategy and mindset and energetic support and my brain on your exact personal business. Whereas Scale with Amy gives you still very, very high level support in a group setting, but it also gives you the granular framework, the tutorials, all of the stuff, just without the super personalized one-to-one support or the price of one-to-one coaching. If you already joined before the 7th of September, then you already have access to the bonus pre-recorded Success Activation Week. I hope you're enjoying that, and you will already be in the community, and I'm so excited for you. But if you missed that, don't panic. You can still join now until Friday the 12th of September, if you're listening to this in real time. But doors will shut on Friday because we start on Monday, and I can't be having people messaging me ad hoc trying to sort things out, because I just honestly don't have the time for it. It's just very stressful when that happens. So make sure you are in before Friday. And this is also the first beta round. So this is the lowest price it will ever be. I'm not sure when I will do the next one, if I do. So if you're seriously considering it, do not risk waiting for next time, because there might not be a next time. And I don't know when it will be. But you also get lifetime access. So a couple of people who have joined more recently both said to me, we're really, really busy. I'm pretty much fully booked for September. I just don't know if I'm going to have the time to do this, but it's lifetime access. So you will always be able to come back to the content. Also, every single live call is recorded. And it will be uploaded immediately. So you can watch it whenever you want. We also really go above and beyond to also create you an audio version as well. So if you need to listen ever in the car, or if you're on a walk and you can't have the video on, you've got the audio option too, which is, I think, very useful, especially when you're super busy. And you can literally go back to this program every time you want to, tweak something or improve something or even launch something new. You can go back and watch it, the content. A lot of course providers don't give lifetime access, but I do, because I think it's really useful, and I know that life gets busy. And also, just on that note, inside Success Activation Week, I actually created an additional lesson, a full lesson of how to create more time in your business, even if you're absolutely flat out right now with a big old audit. So there's a full lesson on that as well, to literally free up like 4 to 6+ hours a week, because believe you me, we spend a lot of time on silly stuff that we actually really don't need to be doing. But the longer you leave it, the less time you will have to soak up the mindset and energy work I've given you to get set up for success before we start live on Monday the 15th. There is still £500 off right now in the beta launch, so it is the best time to buy. Prices will never come down, but they may go up. So if I run this again, it will not be the beta pricing. So don't delay and give yourself an opportunity cost. So one of the things I often get asked by my one-to-one clients is whether they're allowed to share the results that they've helped their clients achieve, the transformation, or even just how the client felt during or after working with them. And I always find this a really interesting question, because you're probably doing it anyway for a start. Like for most organizers, a lot of you are already sharing before and after pictures, like photos or videos on reels of a space that you've helped someone declutter or organize. And that seems to be totally fine to everyone. Like it always has been. It's totally fine. No one ever bats an eyelid. No one ever asks me that question when it's a picture of a cupboard, because it's normal, right? It's the done thing. It's what everyone else does. And when aspiring organizers are starting out, one of the things they panic about is not having enough before and after photos. And they'll say to me, oh my God, I can't start my Instagram account yet because I've only got one client and I've got no pictures. And I always say, you don't need it. It doesn't matter. That isn't the thing that's going to get you booked. It goes so much deeper. I'm not going to get into that now because that's a whole other episode on why before and afters do not convert that well. But we'll come back to it. And I am kind of covering it here, to be honest, if you're listening carefully. But here's what I'm saying. You'd think that most people would be more worried about posting actual images or videos of someone's private home than they would be talking about the transformation. Because with a story, there's nothing to see here, guys. I'm just talking, like I'm just saying words. There's nothing to physically see. And my opinion is that what's really going on is not enough organizers do it. So it's like not the done thing. So people just don't like think it's normal, or they think that they're not allowed to because no one else does it. It is rare that I see an organizer post something really compelling, like proper storytelling that draws you in and shows the transformation in words. And I barely scroll. Like I don't really look at much content at all, unless it's a one-to-one client I'm coaching to help notice opportunities and patterns as extra help if I'm there and I see it in the grid, like when I can. That's not an inclusion. That's not like a guaranteed inclusion. But when I do scroll, I rarely see those posts. And if I do, it's usually because it's someone that's worked with me in the past that understands this. And that is the stuff that sells, right? That's the content that is going to make someone stop scrolling and go, oh shit, I need to book this organizer like right now. So let me give you a really like visual example. So let's say you had a client and she was really struggling in her marriage. The clutter was affecting both her and her husband, their whole home, their energy, their relationship. They were constantly arguing. It was tense all the time. And really the next logical step was separation or divorce. They were absolutely done and it was seriously on the cards. But then you spent time with them over multiple sessions as a professional organizer. You decluttered, let's say 40% of their stuff. You set up the systems. You organized the whole home. Perhaps you even styled it, if that's something that you do as well. You made it calm and peaceful and beautiful, and you started freeing up time for them and reducing their stress. And as you went, your client noticed that they were getting on better. They were having real conversations. They were reconnecting. By the time your work was complete, their relationship felt like it used to. Strong, loving, fun, not stressy. And your client is standing there in her living room, tearful, saying, oh my God, you've saved my freaking marriage. What? That is life-changing. And that exact example has happened with me in a few in-home and even virtual declutter coaching clients, right? Guys, professional organizing is so powerful. Like it literally transforms lives. I know you know this, but it just does. And now imagine if you posted that, if you spoke about that on your stories, or if you made a really compelling carousel that was engaging and that was written in a really storytelling way, or you told a story in a talking heads reel, like really up close, personal, really showing your passion, you know? And let's say you did that and I'm one of your potential clients, sat on Instagram just scrolling, and I see that. I'm following you and I'm in that exact situation, sat there thinking, oh, my life is horrendous right now. And I read that post and think, holy moly, that is me. That is my marriage. This organizer is literally talking about my marriage, my house, That's exactly how I feel. I do not care what you charge. I don't care how many 5 tips to decluttering your wardrobe or before and after photos you posted. I don't give a shit about that. But what you've just posted, I'm messaging you. I'm emailing you now. I'm booking you right now if you've got a decent system on your website, because that post hit me so hard in the face. I saw myself in it. And importantly, I felt it. That is when people open their wallets. That's when someone throws their freaking credit card at you and says, help me, please. So when clients ask, is it okay to share client results? I'm like, oh my God, yes. Yes, that's exactly what you should be sharing. That is what converts, right? God, I'm getting passionate about this because it is. And now, of course, yes, think about the ethics, obviously. And this, I think it really is the bit that people spiral, even though it's still less intrusive than a photo. But anyway, you're not naming the client, first of all. You're not tagging them. You're not showing their face. You're not adding the location, the specific location. You might be tagging your area, but you're not tagging their location. You're not even sharing pictures or videos like you would normally. You're not giving any personal details. And look, unless their best friend, who already knows them anyway and already knows their situation, is following you and knows everything about it and also knows that they were working with you, which they might not, no one will know who you're talking about. And honestly, even if it is their best friend already knows. It's not a secret. Most clients get it, right? Most people understand that you are a business, you're running a business. Of course, you need to be talking about what you do. They know that you need more clients to keep the lights on, otherwise you'll have to close the business, right? If you don't get more clients, your business shuts down, and so they can't refer you anyway. And regardless, with no personal details, how would they actually know for sure? You could have multiple clients in the same situation. There are thousands, if not millions of people with almost identical problems going on in their life because we're all human and we all have the same basic human needs and therefore a lot of the same problems, right? More often than people think, clients like hearing their story shared. My own business coach has a podcast and she regularly talks about me, right? Because I've done well and she's helped me to do well. Not by name, not like, here's a testimonial that Amy shared, but she'll share examples of my wins or my breakthroughs or how we overcame a challenge or how we did something specifically personal, nothing like about my personal life or anything like that. She didn't ask me for permission to talk about that. She doesn't need to because there's no personal details. And every time I hear it, I often forget to listen to her podcast, but when I do remember, I always hear myself and I feel so proud. I'm like, yes, that's me. Oh my God, I did that. She's talking about me. It makes me feel good. And I'm the only one that would recognize that she's talking about me. My mum wouldn't even know if she listened because I don't tell my mum much of what's going on in my business. And more than that, it makes me want her to win. I want her to get more clients. I mean, she's fully booked anyway, but like, I want people to listen to her and be inspired and think that actually maybe I should work with her because I want her to succeed because she's phenomenal and she's changed my life. So if she's making money because someone else hears my story and thinks, oh my God, I want that transformation as well, brilliant. I'm wishing her well. And so that's good energy, right? That's going to come back to me. And also, like, slightly separately, but kind of in the same thing, money is also just energy. But we all treat money as such an emotional thing. We all have so much resistance towards it. But money is just energy, guys. Your energy is just so important. If you're putting something positive out there, something that might help someone else, it's going to come back to you. It always does. If you're getting arsey and shitty about it, or if your client is or whoever, like, that's not good, right? You will get more good things coming to you. Now, I'm not saying that you would never ever have a potentially tricky client, right? Like, anything can happen. Personally, I've never had a problem. But there have been some clients when I was decluttering and organizing in home that I just never talked about because I just knew that they're a bit, I wouldn't want to talk about them. But I've never had a problem when I've shared something, right? There are people who are like in a bit of victim mode or carrying a bit of resentment, or maybe like they've got a messy relationship with money or whatever it is, like, who might say, if you shared something about them, and you'll know this, right? You know the clients you work with, you'll get the vibe. But if you did share something, if you were just went for it anyway and you were really thinking I shouldn't share this and then you did, they might say, I can't believe you used me to sell your services. Like, if you were to mention their situation in absolute detail, even without identifying them. I mean, In those rare cases, use your judgment. Like, if you suspect that a client is going to be sensitive or reactive with a terrible mindset, don't share it. Like, just don't. Use your common sense. Or change a couple of details if it makes sense. Don't lie, but just adapt. So, like, I don't know, for example, if you help them with their like master bedroom or something, change it and say, oh, I helped a client with their spare room. That's like, it's still a bedroom. Obviously, think about it logically. It depends on your situation, but keep the core transformation, but just make it untraceable. And you have to remember, you are a business. You're not a charity and you're not playing at a hobby. You need bookings and sales to carry on. Otherwise, you're not a business. And what sells is emotional resonance. If someone can see themselves in the story that you're telling, that is what makes them book. That is what moves the needle, okay? Honestly, no one cares about your 5 tips to declutter your wardrobe post. They don't. I've done it. I've posted loads before like that. No one gives a shit. They don't care. It's not emotional. That is not going to make anyone feel seen, right? I mean, obviously, it depends how you write it. If you write it in a really clever way, if it's a carousel, if you've written a really good like storytelling post, maybe. But arguably, everything's been done already. Yes, it's the messenger, not the message, but that isn't the stuff that sells. That's the stuff that we all think we need to be posting and it's not, right? A story, a real powerful transformational story is what turns a lurker into a buyer, a booker, whatever, someone that books you. So yes, share the story, share the transformation, share the energy of what your work actually does. That is what sells. And that is exactly what your next dream client is waiting to hear, who is sat there desperate for change, on her knees, waiting for the right person to come along and say the right thing to help her understand that things can and will get better with the right help. In another client session, we were talking about also remembering how good you are, the actual results that you create, and using that as fuel when the gremlin pipes up, because the gremlin always pipes up. And I told her to create a folder on her phone called like proof or wins or I'm amazing, whatever makes you smile. Happy client messages, reviews, DMs, little thank you notes, WhatsApps after a session, like snippets from a feedback form, screenshots of physical like before and after photos or whatever it is to look at when you wobble, when your brain goes hunting for validation, when you feel like, oh, I just need someone to tell me that I'm really good. Because again, sometimes we need that, right? And if you suddenly feel nervous about working with a brand new client, maybe, or even showing up on Instagram stories, for example, or if you have pre-launch jitters about your new offer, or even if you feel like maybe you didn't do something to your best and you start overthinking it and you start worrying about something, open the folder, right? About to write sales copy and you're panicking, open the folder. Need to remember why this matters, open the folder. But then also, yes, share them. Obviously, though, if you've got like physical before and after photos, make sure you have permission from the person. Don't just share them because that's a physical picture. But if you've got it, pop it on your stories. But all the other stuff, put it on your stories, right? Turn one into a juicy carousel. Tell the short story behind it in a talking heads reel. Link it to the transformation, where they were before, what wasn't working, the moment things shifted, where they are now, whatever it is, calmer mornings, less arguing, 20 bags out the house, a system that actually sticks. That is the stuff that converts. And on ethics, because, I know that you spiral, like formal reviews, testimonials obviously get explicit permission to share. If you're sharing something as this is a testimonial, they have to have said this is a testimonial, and obviously photos always need proper permission. But like if it's a Google review and their name is already publicly on it, you don't need to scrub that out unless you want to. Casual WhatsApp messages, chat, or like DMs, crop the names out or cover them up wherever you're putting it on. Blur out or cover anything up that's identifying. Like if there's a section in the middle, but the kind of side bits you really want to share, block it out, right? Anything that could be identifying or anything that is like very, very like specific or relevant to them, cover it up. And if you're just talking about it, paraphrase or just miss that section out, whatever. Keep the essence, but protect the person. Now, obviously, with sensitive stories, like, I don't know if it's hoarding or like serious ill health or major relationship issues that are like you probably wouldn't want to talk about, then obviously use your judgment. Change non-core details. Like I said, room or timeline, or don't say, oh, it was this week. Just don't say a timeline, or just be very, very vague, right? While still making it valuable to the people who might find it useful and to share your expertise, your authority, and your brilliance as a professional. So it's untraceable. Never lie, but you can adapt. And obviously always use your common sense. You know, I can't say a blanket yes or no because I haven't seen it. And then a hard no, obviously, if a client has specifically said, please never, ever, ever share anything about me, then honor it. Like, there might be a reason for it. And it doesn't mean that you can't ask them, you know, if something's happened, like if you've changed their lives and, you know, or something specific, then sometimes they change their minds. I've often had this as well, where a client has said, I really don't want you to share any before and after photos. Like, I used to have like a, what's it called, like permission form, and I would quite often have clients saying no photos, don't share any photos, and then afterwards they'd be like, oh my god, yeah, totally, it's totally fine, share the photos, because I would always take before and after photos to send to them, to my client, and sometimes they'd be like, oh yeah, share it, it's amazing, I don't care anymore, because I also help them often to change their mindset. When they realize how much you've changed their life, they will probably just randomly say, oh, by the way, you can share XYZ because I want others to know how much you've helped me. And then everything else, obviously, you're fine to share as long as it's anonymized transformation stories. Like I said, you're running a business, not a charity. And of course, just think about it logically and as a human as well as a business owner. If you have a genuine gut feeling that you shouldn't share something and it's not just the gremlin or your limiting beliefs, then don't. You know, there will be other things to share. And please stop asking internet strangers if you're allowed. You're the freaking CEO. Make decisions from the CEO, not from your scared inner child. People need to see that you help real people. It builds know, like, and trust, and it helps someone think, that's me. I'm safe to book. How do I book right now? How do I give her my money? Make the My Wins or your amazing I'm Amazing album on your phone or computer and pin it to your home screen, right? If you want to do it right now. Drop in 10 screenshots that you can find. Pick one, crop the name, get rid of any identifying details, like I've just said. Write a really straightforward 3-part caption in your voice, please, not ChatGPT, using your words before, then during or after the turning point, and then after, with a simple call to action like comment or message me, help, and I'll send you the link to book a free discovery call, whatever it is. You know, if you want this transformation too, right? Obviously speaking your words. And then post it as a single post or in a quick B-roll reel. Don't be faffing around on Canva. Don't wait for the perfect grid. It's all irrelevant. So, little quick recap then. Storytelling sells, share outcomes and emotions, not just cupboards. Be ethical, obviously, and act like a CEO. Log your wins, share them daily if you can on Instagram, if you use Instagram as your main marketing, and use them to fuel your belief as well and to get clients. And if you want my eyes on your copy, so your one email or one story actually turns into money around here, and help you to spot easy opportunities like what I gave my client I spoke to you about before, then you can apply for one-to-one coaching. The waitlist is in the show notes. As I said, I've got probably 1 or 2 spaces left before the end of the year. Coaching always includes copy review, which is priceless. My tweaks are often the difference between crickets and fully booked. Or join with Scale with Amy if you want the full step-by-step to build, launch, and sell your new scalable offer. You can still join Scale with Amy until Friday the 12th, this Friday, September. Then doors close because we start on Monday the 15th, and there's still £500 off right now. So thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Permission to Organize. If you've loved these tips and advice and you want more, make sure you're subscribed so you never miss an episode, and give me a 5-star rating if you found this useful. I would love that. I'd really appreciate it. And if you've had a major light bulb moment, I've shared a lot of really, really useful tips. Come and tell me on Instagram. Tag me on your stories, Pro Organizer Academy, and Amy the Space Creator, and tell me what your biggest takeaway is to help more organizers find the podcast and get the support they need to. And honestly, when I share you, especially on Amy the Space Creator account, it helps you. I literally had a message and I only saw it pop up. I haven't even replied or opened it yet, but I saw a message from one of the lovely organizers who came on the Space Creator Show podcast, and she said that she's had a new client from being on that episode. So when I share you, it does sometimes help you. So come and do that. I hope you have a gorgeous week, and I will see you in the next episode. And if you have any questions at all about Scale with Amy before we close, just send me a DM. Pro Organizer Academy, though, is better. It's less busy than the Space Creator. Bye.